And welcome back. It is Frankie Boyer, Biz Talk Radio, and joining me now is a gentleman who is the president and owner of Rosso Films International, and there is a new documentary right now called The Girl Who Cannot Speak. It explores the stories of sexual abuse, and Stefano DeFrey is with us, and welcome. It's such a pleasure.
Oh my God. Thank you, Frankie, for having me. I'm super happy to be here.
Tell me, Stefano, tell me
okay.
about...
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Tell me about The Girl Who Cannot Speak, because there's some extraordinary people involved in this, and it's really a story that needs to be told.
You know, Laura Pellegrini and I, who produced and directed it together, we had started off with about 40 to 45 source materials, source stories. Laura had worked at a women's shelter on her side up in Westchester, outside of New York City, and I had experiences with some women who had been abused by family members, sexually abused by family members, that I was in intimate relationships with. So I saw this recurring theme that was occurring, and it was very hard for us to find the 5 people that we ended up using for the film. It certainly took an immense amount of I would say vulnerability and sensitivity, and just the stuff that you would read as you would keep meeting more and more people. You realize how unaware you were. And the theme in this documentary is about youth. You know, 5 of our subjects, 5 of the women being interviewed, are all different backgrounds, different ages, different colors, and we have one girl who's underage, who doesn't speak in the documentary. So as they tell their stories, you begin to learn a little bit more about the girl who is underage. And I think the theme of youth is a big theme that Laura and I tried very much to cover in The Girl Who Cannot Speak, because many of the cases, whether you look at the Justice Department or the family crisis centers or any statistics that are reported, happen when girls are very young, very powerless, very vulnerable, and it was a documentary that we felt that was very, very close to our hearts, and certainly when the Weinstein situation happened, and in October of 2017, yes, we were already in production at that time.
So the film has received so many honors, and is it going to be qualified for the Oscars?
So that's a very good question. So we have been at already 4 Oscar qualified films, and to be qualified for the Oscars, you not only have to get into the Oscar qualifiers, but you have to win certain awards, and then you're shortlisted. So we've qualified at least twice, and we'll be playing at another Oscar qualified film at the St. Louis International Film Festival this November on the 17th, where we'll be playing. But we'll be playing twice, all the way through from November 8th to the 17th throughout the festival run in St. Louis.
Oh, how fabulous. It must have taken so much to get this film made. Tell us a little bit about how long it did take this, because the story really is that 1 in 4 women and 1 out of 6 men are sexually abused in their lifetime. And this story is so powerful because we're talking about so many that are so young that are being abused, and it just is a staggering number. But what was it like for the making, and how long did it take for you to get this film produced and made and all of those things behind the scenes?
I want to say that it probably took just under 6 months. I mean, from beginning to end. The first part, the hardest part, is how do you you have to have contact with people who women who have been in situations where they've been sexually abused and want to tell their story. But then you also have to figure out, is this also the right story? Right? There's a component to that, right? So like how do I know if this is the right story? And then you have to sometimes we would get submitted these stories anonymously, or we would get them through a crisis center of people who wanted to share their story, but there was an intermediate. Then we had to meet them. And that's always very hard, because in a relationship.
Yeah, sure, Stefano. Absolutely, of course. Yeah.
You're trying to lower the amount of paranoia between each other, because you're creating a safe environment, and sort of early on that even though we had probably, before we started production, we had 7 women that we were going to interview, you sort of know that maybe 1 or 2, which happened in our case, will call you up a day before and say, "Listen, Stefano, I have to tell you,
I can't do it. Yeah,
I'm scared. I can't do it, and
I'm scared.
And of course,
I can't do it. Yeah,
that's right. And you say, of course, I understand. And I think as a filmmaker, you have to be very prepared. Laura and I were very prepared for this. We knew that this was an explosive, an emotionally charged topic, and so we had emotionally prepared, delicately, as much as you could, to be in sort of these crisis situations. Then our editor
we're so out of time. But as the film goes through more process, we would love to talk to you and keep abreast of it. And what's the best website? Can people go to the website and
absolutely
check it out?
thegirlwhocannot.speak.com. The Girl Who Cannot Speak.
Thank you for doing this film. Yes, thank you so much. And
we'll
be back. Thank you all. Thank you all for being with us today. We will be back next time. This is Frankie Boyer for Biz Talk Radio. Thanks for listening. Make it a great day, everybody. And as always, smile.